Is Islam false? No. Why? Because I don't know any religion that's more true than Islam. Well, that's not a good one, right? Well, maybe it could be. But let's see, today we've got a video that is, I think, trying to disprove Islam. Is Islam false? Watch this. Ooh. So let's see what's going to happen here. So I don't know if it's like Christians or atheists trying to disprove Islam, but the title itself is giving me a sense of somebody or some people trying to say, hey, these guys, they're wrong. Islam is wrong. And let us prove it for you. So before we waste any time, let's see what the proof is going to be like. Hopefully it's about what I'm saying.
Now keep in mind, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was gathered after he died, and it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650 AD.
Yeah, he didn't write it. Oh, cross-examined.
Can you elaborate? I brought several of our teams from our church,
Okay.
and I wanted them to see, can you go over the differences between Christianity versus the other world religions such as Islam, Catholicism, Mormonism?
Talk about the
You mean
difference.
in 2 minutes?
Yes.
That's like those are semester courses.
Yeah, Christians too.
We'll try to
So let's see this perspective. What they're really going to say about Islam.
He's like some kind of radio guy behind the glass going, shorten it up, shorten it up. All right, why don't we just deal with Islam first, okay? Look, there are 3 great monotheistic religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, okay? In my view, Christianity just completes Judaism. I think the Old Testament is true,
Right.
and I think the New Testament is true as well, so it completes Judaism. Islam comes along, well, first of all, Muhammad is born in 570 AD. In about 610 AD, he seems to think he gets a revelation from God to say that there's only one God. And he goes to Mecca in 622, and he tries to say, in a town that had a lot of idols, because people would go to Mecca and worship these deities, he tried to go in there and say, look, there's just one God.
Yeah.
Allah is his name. And so they threw him out. He goes up to Medina, he begins to raid Meccan caravans, and in 630 he takes Mecca by force, but he doesn't have much resistance. He dies 2 years later, probably poisoned by somebody in 632. By 638,
That's a bad way to die.
his followers have already taken over the Holy Land, and by 732 they've streamed across northern Africa, across the Straits of Gibraltar, into Spain, and were stopped in Tours, France by Charles Martel, Charles the Hammer, that's what his name means, Martel. And he pushed them back, and eventually the Muslims retreated back over the Straits of Gibraltar, and to this day, northern Africa is largely, predominantly Muslim. Now, Muhammad, when he was on the earth, never claimed to do miracles. In fact, in the Quran, he says, I'm just a plain warner, I don't do miracles.
Right.
Miracles are attributed to Muhammad about 150 years later in what's called the Hadith, the written traditions of what Muhammad said and did. These people were not eyewitnesses. As I say, it's about 150 years later, and some of the miracles appear to be modifications of Christian miracles, like Jesus turns water into wine, Muhammad turns water into
I don't know which
milk.
hadith he's talking about,
Jesus
but some of them
feeds
are really
5,000,
authenticated though.
Muhammad feeds, I don't know,
At
10
least
or
some of them is not
50,000,
good.
something like that, right? They appear to be kind of borrowed from Christianity, and even many Muslim scholars say they're legendary. So, I don't think there's any supernatural confirmation that Muhammad was a prophet. Okay? And the miracles attributed to him were attributed much later. Now, there seems to me an eternal contradiction here for Muslims, because in Surah 568, which is a chapter in the Quran, the 68th verse, it says, O ye people of the book. Who are the people of the book? The Christians and the Jews.
Right.
You have no ground to stand on unless you stand on the law and the Gospels. In other words, the Quran is telling Christians and Jews they ought to obey the Old Testament and the New Testament. The problem is, if you obey the Old Testament and the New Testament, it contradicts with the Quran. Because in Surah 4, verse 157, it says that Jesus never died. He was taken straight to heaven, so he couldn't have resurrected from the dead, because God would never kill a prophet, according to the Quran. Now, keep in mind, Muhammad did not write the Quran. It was gathered after he died, and it was put together by the third Caliph Uthman in 650
I think it's
AD.
important for him. He says he's repeating that he
There's
did not write
no
it.
miraculous confirmation that Muhammad was a prophet. So it's written 600 years after the events of Christianity. Why would we take a document written 600 years later to tell us what happened to Jesus when we have eyewitness testimony of what happened to Jesus?
Right.
So this is why I don't think Islam is the true world religion. Now, I'm not saying everything Islam teaches is false. That's not the case. I just think where it differs from Christianity, it's false. So that's the other great competitor to Christianity is Islam.
Right.
Okay. Now, most Muslims would agree with the first 3 points: truth, God, miracles. Where they're going to have a problem with is the New Testament. So that's where Christians and Muslims separate with regard. One place they separate with regard to what happened to Jesus.
Huh. I've never thought about this though. I've never thought about Muhammad having to do miracles to prove that he's a real prophet. What do you guys think about this? I think especially to the Muslims, what would you say what this guy is saying about Islam? And the verse he quoted, I just looked at it. I just also in the same verse 5, like to, also I'm a Muslim, so sometimes I could go on the other way trying to be in favor of Islam. That one will come naturally because I am a Muslim. So I don't see that I am like trying to be one-sided or the other. I'm a Muslim, and of course I have to be able to prove my religion. If not, I have to learn more about it. If I can't do both of those, well, then I'm really not even a Muslim. But he quoted chapter 5, verse 68 or something. I think I've come across it before. And what that one was saying is, if the Christians don't stand on the gospel and the Torah, Wait, but don't Christians believe that? Don't you think the Torah is a history book? Or it's something that Jesus came and nullified, and you no longer need the Torah? I don't know. I'm not a Christian, but you the Christians, you let me know. Is that right, or I'm mistaken on that? Because if the Quran says you need to stand on the Torah and the gospel, but you guys say, no, we want only the gospel, we don't want the Torah. Well, maybe the Quran is either wrong or the Christians are wrong. Which is which? Again, I don't know if what I'm thinking is the right one, but you let me know in the comments below if you guys do believe in the Torah, the Christians, if you do believe in the Torah and the gospel at the same time. And the Quran, if I don't think this one is contradicted too, because the Quran says Jesus came to fulfill the Torah. So if you guys don't believe the Torah, and then if you guys don't believe Jesus came to fulfill the Torah, he came and then he made some changes, and then some things were allowed, he made them forbidden, some things were forbidden, he made them allowed. This is just a general knowledge that I have. I don't really. But what would you guys say? I think his points of Muhammad not performing miracles, that one is something that I want to look into. Does every prophet has to perform miracles? I don't know. Maybe if it's a sign to show that everybody, like a prophet is a real prophet, then there should be, Muhammad should have done something to prove that he's really a prophet. What do you guys think? What would you say about this? I think that was a very good one, and he gave you know, of course he's a Christian, and he gave that story that was really short and compacted about how Muhammad transitioned from Mecca to Medina, and he talks like they're tossing him around. But if the Muslim tells the story, they'll be like, oh, it was tough, and then he ran, and then he came back, and then, you know, he commanded everybody, and then it's like there will be more of them of Muhammad being a powerful person, that because he's a Christian and he's saying it, Muhammad is like a weak person, and then they're tossing him around like from here to here. You know, I think that one is also natural too, because he can't be a Christian and he'll be praising Muhammad, like talking about how good he is. That will probably contradict him. Very interesting. I would like to hear what you guys think about this. You the Christians, do you have similar views? Do you have similar reasons why you don't think Muhammad is not a prophet, or why Islam is not true? Because he had not made miracles, and there's no miraculous reason. I think that was his biggest point, right? Because there's no miraculous signs that Muhammad is a prophet. I mean, yeah, I'm not really interested in going into, like, you know, when people usually quote the Quran and then they will say it's scientifically like this. I'm not a good science person, so I don't want to talk about those. I think there are similar things in the Bible too, which people can cut verses and prove. Let me know what you think, and of course, please subscribe to the channel. And also the verse I just quoted, you know, you can reference and then go and look at the verse and read the full context. You know, the Quran has to be either contradictory or not, but we don't believe it is. And he is saying, the Quran is saying that, hey, you guys stand on the Torah, but the same Quran is saying that you guys don't want to stand on the Torah because you are disbelievers. So you left the Torah and you are asking Muhammad about guidance. You know, that is said in Quran chapter 5 verse 43, I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. But let me know what you think, you know, about Christians and Muslims and Jewish, and maybe if you're even non-religious. What do you think? Do you think this is a valid reason to prove whether something is about God is right or wrong? I'm gonna tell you more about it. So, thank you so much. See you next time. Of course, subscribe and like the video if you did like it.